Hey, what is up guys? Shinobi here, continuing the WoW Classic series leading up to WoW Classic coming out on August 27th. Today, well, we got to talk about class group composition during the leveling process. I'm going to talk about recommended solo levelers, recommended duo levelers, recommended group levelers. At this point in time, you should have chosen which class you're going to play. I have a few videos talking about different classes and the roles that they play and things of that sort. When it comes to who you're going to play with, that's the question, right? That's what we're talking about here. I'm not trying to persuade you into playing a certain class with this video. We're talking about if you're going to play this class, how you should level with that class and who you should level with. So let's go ahead and get into it. First off, we're going to start with recommended solo classes. So the best solo leveling classes are Hunter, Warlock, Druid, and Mage. Let's talk about each one of these briefly individually, and then we'll move on from there. The Hunter, widely regarded as probably the most consistently fastest leveling class in the game, and works best in a solo environment. You are essentially a tank, a healer, and a DPS all in one. Your pet does a lot of damage. You're not very gear dependent whatsoever, which is really nice. The main things that matter for a hunter is having a ranged weapon that has decent DPS. Other than that, the gear doesn't really matter that much, doesn't play that much of a factor. And even like using your skills, like, you know, spamming your mana to burst out damage is not really much of a factor. Your pet does probably about 55 to 60% of your overall DPS, and you do about 40% or so of your overall DPS when you're grinding, doing quests, and things of that sort. So having your pet and keeping up with your pet is pretty crucial. Making sure that you have, the right pet. I would recommend, if you are leveling on the Horde as a hunter, get a boar right off the bat at level 10 because it has charge. So that get nice gap closer helps you get from mob to mob quicker. Then at level 32, get a Stranglethorn Tiger. This will allow you to, have that dash, and plus cats do 10% more damage as well. And you can pretty much ride that out all the way until level 60. Hunters are really great because not only are they good for questing, but they're also best for grinding as well, because they can kill elite mobs, and it's pretty easy actually to kill elite mobs. Whereas other classes are going to struggle and they're going to die constantly trying to kill elites. You can kill things really efficiently, and you don't even need to have good gear in order to do so. In fact, back in the day, Joanna got level 60 in 4 days and 4 days and 20 hours. And he did that. And if you look at the video footage of Joanna while leveling, a lot of the time he's using like a gray ranged weapon. It's literally just comes down to knowing your leveling route and knowing how to, which skills to buy and things like that. I do have a hunter guide coming out later on. We'll talk more about that later on. But yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about for hunters. Super awesome solo levelers. Moving on next to Warlock. Warlock is very similar to the Hunter in many ways, except the separator is that Hunter has aspects that allow them to run faster, helping them get from mob to mob. Their pets also do more damage, so Hunters are going to generally do more DPS, and they're going to be able to move from point A to point B faster, but Warlocks are still one of the fastest leveling classes from 1 to 60, and really work well in a solo environment because they're essentially, the same as a hunter. It's a DPS, a tank, and a healer all in one. What the most important factor though for a warlock is a wand. So I've linked in the description down below a bunch of wands that you can look at and when you get them at certain levels and where you get them from. So click that link down in the description below. That'll help you get a good wand while leveling up, and that'll save you so much time and allow you to level a lot faster. Moving on next to the Druid. Man, I leveled the Druid to 60, and it was one of the most chill leveling experiences. At level 10, you get bear form. At level 20, you get cat form, which is really nice. In fact, I dare to say it, cat form is just more efficient than a rogue is. and you know, you can just heal yourself back up, and you can tag mobs with moonbeam. You can you know, you can go stealth if you need to, if like things get hairy. You know, like maybe there's some PvP going on, like, oh, I'll just stealth over here until they run by. You know, it saves you a run back from the graveyard if like 3 people or 4 people are going to kill you or whatever. So if you're on a PvP server. And then on top of that, you know, if you're in a situation where things get kind of sticky, you can Entangling Roots one mob, jump into bear form after you heal yourself and kill the other 2 mobs. And then, you know, they're really hard to kill. And if worst case scenario, oh, I'm about to die, jump into travel form and run away, right? You could do that as well. So yeah, Druids having the travel form is really good too, you know, because you're just getting from point A to point B quicker. They just have a lot of tools at their disposal that allows them to level quickly. And on top of all of that, they have 0 gear dependency. They are the least gear dependent out of all of the classes in the leveling process. Like a hunter, you're going to want a ranged weapon. You know, a warlock, you're going to want a good wand. A druid, doesn't matter, because the weapon that you use is just a stat stick. It doesn't affect your DPS. Your DPS comes from your cat form. And this is why cat form is better than a rogue, because a rogue, some of your damage is going to come from your skill damage, but then some of your other damage is going to come from your, you know, having a good weapon. So, you know, whereas that's not a factor for you at all. So that makes it nice for leveling up. I'd say it was definitely one of my most fun leveling experiences from 1 to 60 was a druid. Just felt effortless. Just really did. Cat form just feels like night and day difference while leveling. And then finally, the mage. Potentially the fastest leveling class in Classic. Now, when I say potentially, AoE grinding is really, really good, and you can get to 60 faster than a hunter by AoE grinding. But you're going to need to be able to AoE grind in areas where it's uncontested, because if there's other people sharing those mobs with you, it's not really going to be worth it now, right? So yeah, AoE grinding is the way to go, but you can't always have everything you want, right? It's going to be people in areas from time to time. So what some people will do is they will AoE grind only when they're in areas when they can do that, and then they'll just single target things down. Otherwise, you're leveling as Frost as the mage, and then you're going to be doing, you know, your shatter effects and things like that. You have a shatter single target spec that honestly people say is good, but it's okay. I'd say it's probably the same speed as leveling as a Shadow Priest by doing the single target spec. The separator is the fact that you AoE. So if you can get away with AoEing, you have the potential to get to 60 before anybody else. But anyways, that's the 4 classes that I recommend for solo play. Now let's talk about duo play. We just talked about mage. We got to add something in there with mage though, and that is priest. Priest is really nice to go with the mage because the priest gives power word shield to the mage, helping the mage with their AoEing down and their survivability, and they can heal the mage as well, give fortitude so the mage has more health, more survivability, so it can pull bigger packs of mobs without like worrying about dying. And then on top of that, the priest can also spec into Holy Nova, which it should if you're going to be leveling as a duo comp of priest mage duo. But the downside to doing this is when the mage is bringing in a priest in, well, now you're splitting XP with somebody else. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you can grind big areas of mobs. I'll give you an example. So in Hillsbrad, there's those farms with all those humanoids. That's perfect, right? Lots of mobs there, respawning on a pretty regular basis. That's perfect for a mage priest duo. But that's also a super popular questing spot too. So you're probably not going to be able to do that. So it really comes down to where you can, you know, pick and choose where you can actually grind with doing the AoE leveling. So, you know, if you can find the spots and you can make it worth it, Mage Priest is a nice combo. Coming in next to my favorite duo leveling comp, and that would be Warrior plus Healer. But we're talking about Shaman. Shaman is the best healer to pair with a warrior. Back in the day, when I played my Shaman, the first 2 people to make it to level 60 was a warrior shaman duo comp, and on my server. Warrior shaman goes really well together because a warrior can usually only pull like 1, maybe 2 mobs at a time by itself. But if you have a healer with you, it can pull multiple mobs, take damage from multiple mobs while getting healed, giving it more rage to constantly keep doing whirlwinds and cleaves and things like that to get the mobs down. But then it gets even better with the Shaman, because the Shaman has Wind Fury Totem. So he's Wind Furying like crazy, killing stuff, and you're also going to be helping you kill mobs as well, because I recommend if you do this situation that you level as an elemental, because you're going to start off with enhancement for a while with Shaman, but then you're going to switch to elemental probably around mid-30s, 40 area. You can throw out some chain lightnings, and then you got a big juicy mana pool to throw as many heals as you need to at the warrior. So that would be my recommendation there, and it's a super nice comp for leveling. Highly recommend it. Yeah, warrior, make a shaman friend. Shaman, make a warrior friend. Level together and do it quickly. Next one here is one you don't really hear about too much, and that would be Rogue Druid. Well, mainly these go together pretty well because they both have stealth, and they complement each other in that way, because let's say you're questing and you want to skip some mobs because there's like a whole bunch of mobs in the way, and you're like, you just got to go kill that one mob, and you can turn in the quest, and it's just really efficient to do that. Well, you can both stealth past, go kill that mob, and then go over there. Plus, on top of that, the rogue can have there's going to be a lot of rogues playing to begin with. So if you have a druid friend, the druid can heal or tank and get into groups and be like, hey, can you bring my rogue friend too? You know, or you can start your own groups together and easily form dungeon groups together, which is really good. But yeah, the rogue druid works well together in that way. And if things get hairy, you can throw heals on the rogue. You can battle res the rogue if you need to. You can... you know, you jump into bear form and tank some stuff if you need to. Yeah, it's overall, it's pretty nice. So pretty good to complement each other in that way. So leveling out as a group can be really nice. So how I would recommend you level as a group is you guys quest a lot in the early levels. And then once you start getting higher up into levels, then you do dungeons until you get to level 60. That's what I would definitely recommend you do. It's very nice in that way. And here's some compositions for doing that. This one's my secret weapon one. I'm just going to throw it out there right away. Hunter, 3 mages, and a priest. This is your AoE comp. So this is really nice for doing dungeons, because what you do is this, right? You're going to be like, what the? You don't have a tank. Wait a second. So what you do is you get a bat or carrion bird or an owl, and they can learn Screech. Screech is an AoE taunt, essentially, for your pet, for the hunter pet. And what you do is you use your hunter pet with Eyes of the Beast, you round up a bunch of mobs, you bring them back, and then your pet just sits there and screeches and just constantly keeps taunting in an AoE. So then the mages can freely AoE and kill the stuff before your pet dies. Now, if your pet does die, right? Oh, well, you just res it quickly. You can res it while in combat. You can't do that to a warrior unless you use a combat res. That's a long cooldown. But you can just res your pet whenever you need to, right? So keep that in mind. And the priest will also help there too with healing your pet. And you can also heal your pet. So you're healing your pet. Your priest is healing your pet, throwing Power Word Shield on it. And maybe throwing out some Holy Novas from time to time. And so that's lots of healing that's going to your pet. And the mages are just AoEing like crazy and killing all the mobs. It's a really nice combo, and I think that combo right there could get world first level 60, I think, and that's in dungeons. And then finally, we have what is called the cleave comp, and this is 2 warriors, 2 rogues, and a shaman. This is the same thing. You'll be doing quests and stuff while you're leveling, and then you're going to get to dungeons and start doing dungeons a bunch until level 60. Reason why this comp is really good is, you guessed it, there's a shaman in the group, so that means Wind Fury Totem. Yes, Wind Fury Totem down while the warriors and rogues are Wind Furying down the mobs. And they have Blade Flurry that they can use for the rogues, and the warriors are using Whirlwind and Cleave, and this is a really nice comp as well. Plus they're a lot tankier than the AoE comp is, so you know, much better situation for surviving, but you can't kill as many mobs at a time as the AoE comp can. Both of these comps, the 5-person comps, are really good. I would recommend, though, if you're going to do this, that the shaman is spec'd into resto, because you want to use your warriors need to both have 2-handed weapons. So You can actually get away with doing this in WoW Classic and the current WoW Classic that we're going to get based off of testing on the beta servers that I did and other people have done. So yeah, that's a few recommended solo, duo, and group questing. Now you might say, Shin, you left out Paladin. Oh yeah. No, I'm just kidding. With the warrior healer combo, you could do warrior paladin. You could do priest mage as well. I mean, you could do pally mage as well. Anywhere there's a healer in a situation like the hunter, 3 mages, priest situation, you could throw in a paladin there instead, because you have like bop and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So you can maybe save one of your mages. So yeah. You can do Paladin as well in one of these situations. It's not going to be as good as the Warrior Shaman combo because Wind Fury Totem and, you know, the 2 Warriors, 2 Rogues, and then having a Paladin, that's not going to be as good because Wind Fury Totem, you know, so, but you can still do it and it'll still be quick and still be good. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. But that's pretty much all the stuff I have for today on this discussion. If you guys have more cool comps or anything like that that you have, put it down in the comments below, or even reach out to me on my Discord and let me know what you think about this stuff, and you know what class you're going to play and how you're going to level up with people. And yeah, these are some of the ways that I recommend you level up based off of whatever class it is that you're playing. So make some friends and level up together, but do it efficiently with some of these comps. So until my next video or my next live stream, my name is Shinobi, and until then, thanks for watching.